Hi, my name is Mike Dillard, and this is Self-Made Man, the podcast for those who want to leave their mark on the world and create a legacy of honor, integrity, and achievement in every aspect of your life. I'm glad you're here, and once again, it is time to forge your destiny. Today's podcast is going to be incredibly valuable if you're looking for the fastest and easiest way to build a six-figure business that can replace your income and that can also allow you to scale up to seven figures. You know, at the end of the day, business is all about math. If you want to make $20,000 per month selling a $40 ebook, you'd have to acquire 500 new customers every single month. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is by spending 80 to 90% of that money and putting it back into advertising. So you might make 20 grand at the end of the day, but you'll be lucky if any of that was actually left over as profit. Or you can take a second option that's a bit counterintuitive. You could sell access to a coaching program that costs, let's say, around $5,000, and in which case you'd need to find just one new customer per week. So finding 4 high-end customers per month is actually much easier and much more profitable than having to find 500. So if you have some specialized knowledge or a skill set that can really solve somebody's problem or that can help them achieve a desired result, this is a business model that I would highly recommend taking a very close look at. And to help you learn more about it today, we're joined by Mr. Russ Ruffino. So Russ is the founder of Clients on Demand. And over the past few years, he's helped thousands of experts create an incredibly simple consulting business that allows them to quickly replace or exceed their traditional income. Now, I learned about Russ a few months ago because my friend here in Austin, Christina, is one of his clients, and she had some phenomenal feedback about his company and their services. And when I started to dig in through their website, to go through their marketing, to go through all of the reviews, and then to have a chance to talk to Russ in person, I found a company and a team that truly cares about the success of their customers and who's willing to guide them through the process of setting up an entire consulting business every single step of the way. I honestly think that this could be a life-changing opportunity for many of you, so get ready to take some notes, and please help me welcome Russ Ruffino. Russ Ruffino, welcome to Self-Made Man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks, Mike. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. So I really got introduced to you and your work about 2 months ago, through a client of yours and a mutual friend of mine, Kirk and Christina, and they'll be on the podcast here in the coming months for a couple of different reasons. But without going down that rabbit hole, they said you've got to go check out Russ and see what he's up to. And that led me to dive into what you guys have been working on in the coaching space. And that's something that I've been putting a lot of thought into over the last few months. And it's been really neat to see what y'all have been able to accomplish. So for those of our audience members who are not familiar with you, can you give us kind of a 5 to 10 minute overview on your history as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll bring everybody up to speed on what we do now, and then I'll kind of let everybody know how we got there. So my company is called Clients on Demand, and our specialty is we help small business owners who make a living from their expertise. So that's your coaches, consultants, therapists, doctors, accountants, like anybody who makes a living through their knowledge or wisdom or expertise. We help those people get clients, because oftentimes those people are fantastic at what they do. They just don't really know very much about marketing. And so we help them leverage online marketing to get new clients in the door. And in the course of doing that, because their marketing gets so much more powerful, they usually can end up charging anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 on the front end for every client they bring in the door. And what we help many of them do is, if they've been working out of the office or maybe they've been chained to the phone, we help them leverage their expertise into some kind of an online program or online offering, so that they go from being chained in the office to actually being able to work from, anywhere in the world with just a laptop and an internet connection. So the way that I always break it down is to say that, look, every business owner really wants 3 things. You want income. So obviously you want to be making the kind of money that you have always wanted to make. But then you also want freedom and a great lifestyle so that you can, enjoy that money that you're making. But you also want impact. You also want to be changing lives, making a difference, and watching your clients' lives get better and better and better every single day. So I really think that the system that we've created enables our clients and our students to create exactly that, where they got the income they want, they got the freedom that they want, but they're also making a great impact and changing the world along the way.
What I love about part of your story that I've come to learn is that you've helped a ton of clients do this for themselves, but you guys have also built an 8-figure business without any of the traditional marketing assumptions that people think that you need, meaning you've got to go become a social media star. you've got to go hit the roadshow and do all of this other stuff. You guys have really done it in a fairly underground way, and you teach your students to do the same thing, and it's working to the tune of 7-8 figures. So what does that piece look like?
Yeah, so we actually did $15 million last year, which is, obviously there's bigger companies than that, but we've only been doing this particular strategy for about 4 or 5 years. So, it's grown so fast. So it's been great. I mean, it's just crazy to, be on a podcast and say that was our revenue number for last year. Like it still doesn't sound, real to me. But yeah, so there are so many strategies out there that are based on what I call cross your fingers marketing. And what those strategies usually entail is you've got people telling you that before you can really make any money online, or before you can charge a premium price, or before you can get the clients that you want, you have to do all this other stuff. You have to build this massive audience, or you have to go out there and get a ton of followers on Twitter, or a ton of followers on YouTube, or you have to go out there and you have to write that New York Times bestseller, or you have to have a hit blog, and you got to have that hit YouTube channel. And the problem with all of these strategies, there's nothing wrong in and of itself, but the problem with all the strategies is that they take a really, 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 really long time to do, especially now where all of these channels are just getting so much more competitive and so much more crowded, that for you to come out there and organically create this massive following, you're talking about a project that's going to take years to do. It's not that it's impossible. It can definitely be done, but it takes a hell of a long time. And I remember when I was starting out and people were telling me these strategies, I was like, okay, maybe that's true, but there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a shorter path, because I can't sit here in front of my computer and grind out blog posts and videos and all of this stuff while I've got a wife and I've got kids and they're expecting me to grow my business and make money and provide a life for them. So I was like, I don't have 2 years to invest in a situation where I'm just going to do all this work and then cross my fingers and hope that somehow, some way, the clients actually show up. So I kind of put my nose to the wheel and I said, okay, well, look, if I don't want to do that, what can I try first? What can I try instead? Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But can I try some other strategy that will get me results much, much quicker? And so through a process of trial and error, what we figured out is that the best strategy for bringing new clients in the door is to run ads on social media. So places like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever. So you're going to run paid ads. So first of all, instead of, creating all this content and just hoping people find it, you're using advertising so that they're going to find it. You're paying for a certain number of clicks. So for sure you're going to get that traffic. So you run ads on social media, and we drove that traffic into a 45-minute webinar. And then on the webinar, we made a very, very simple offer. If you'd like to talk to us about working together, book a phone call. And that's it. And we go ad, webinar, phone call. And then on the phone call, we teach our clients to enroll people into whatever that premium priced offer is. So you're not enrolling people into something that costs $197. You're enrolling people into something that costs $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or more. And what that empowers you to do is just bypass all the work of building that massive audience, because you're actually taking people from clicking on your ad to enrolling into one of your high ticket programs within 24 to 48 hours. And most of the time, those people have never heard of you before. So this idea that you've got to spend years building an audience and cultivating a following and creating this big tribe and all that stuff, it's a myth. It really is. If your marketing is powerful enough, one 45-minute webinar can really do all of the work of months and months and months of relationship building, a very powerful offer, and you're going to find a high percentage of those people actually will take you up on that offer. And so instead of spending all this time doing all this work and crossing your fingers and hoping the clients show up, you're using a process that ensures that they're going to show up. And it's just much, much, much faster and much cleaner.
So here's a story I want to share with everybody. And I haven't told you this, but what you've figured out is something that I learned 15 years ago when I was in the network marketing industry. And so that is where I got my start as an entrepreneur in my early 20s at the end of college. And I spent 5 years trying to build an MLM business. Well, let's just say 12 to 15 of them, and failed at each one. And they were usually in the nutrition supplement industry or prepaid legal or something like that. But what they all had in common is that you had to build a big team, you had to build a giant customer base, and on average, you were making $5 to $10 in commission on everyone in your organization. And what I realized is that it is far, far easier to sell a what I coined the term top tier 10 years ago, a top tier opportunity or product that cost, let's say, $3,000 to $15,000 than it is to sell a $19 product, or at least to make the same amount of money. So, for example, when you guys see me building Self-Made Man and selling memberships for $19, that's the hardest thing you can do in the online marketing world. It might sound counterintuitive, but in order to do that successfully, you've got to have 3 to 5 assets behind that to increase your customer value. And so when I was back in the network marketing days, and I'm like, I just want to make $3,000 a month. I just want to pay my bills and get rid of this job. And I do the math, like I've got to build an organization of like 1,000 people to get to that point. I'm like, there's no way. It's just going to take forever. So what I eventually did is I found an opportunity that sold financial education events. They were 3 to 5 day events in an exotic location. And on average, let's just say it was $10,000 to $15,000 a ticket, and I would make half of that as my commission. So if I want to make $3,000 a month or more, well, now all I've got to do is make one single sale a month. And if you take the same math, and let's just say the math is your goal is to make $2,000 this month, and you've got a product that you can sell for $2,000, or you've got a product that you can sell for $20, which is going to be easier? Finding 100 customers at $20 or one customer at $2,000. I can tell you without a doubt, it's finding one customer at $2,000 is infinitely easier. And that, Russ, completely changed my life because I went into that new business and I immediately started making 6 figures just on my own personal sales, making 1 or 2 sales a month. I was making 6 figures a year. And then I started telling other people in the network marketing industry, hey, this is a hell of a lot easier, guys, than what you're doing selling vitamins and juice for $5 a bottle. And I ended up sponsoring 15 people who were leaders in their prior companies, which immediately within 3 months made me the number one earner, making 7 figures in residual money within a year in that business. And so I think that this is a very parallel business model that you guys have found and that you're teaching people these days, which is if your goal is to replace your income, and let's say it's $10,000 a month, the easiest thing in the world and the way to do that is the model that you guys are teaching.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I want people to understand that those prices, they're not just arbitrary. I'm not just saying, hey, charge $5,000. Why not? For most of the people that we work with, their work solves a major life or business challenge. So the people we work with, like if they're in the coaching space, let's say, if you're a relationship coach and you're helping people whose marriage isn't working and you're helping them put their marriage back together, what's that worth? If you're a fitness coach and you're helping people drop 30 pounds and get into the best shape of their life and probably live 10 to 15 years longer, what's that worth? If you're a marketing coach and someone's business isn't working at all and you can help them generate the leads that they want to generate. If you're an accountant and people are paying way too much in taxes, or they're not seeing the profits in their business that they should be seeing, what is that worth? Well, if you really look at the work that you do, and the work that you do is about solving the big challenges in life, then really having those problems fixed is priceless for your clients. So why would you charge $100 an hour? Or why would you charge $197 for a video course or something like that? If you can actually help people fix this problem and it's priceless for them to have that problem fixed, then why not charge $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000? And when you do that, some really cool things happen. Immediately you're going to start attracting the most committed people, which is fantastic. You're not going to get these people that show up and buy your stuff and kind of download everything and then cancel the next day or something like that. They're going to show up and actually do the work. And you're going to attract a much more higher quality of client, where I thought that when I started charging premium prices that the people that I attracted were going to be, way more high maintenance and difficult to work with. But the opposite is true. The more someone is investing to work with you, the more coachable they are when they show up. And then, of course, the best part about it for you is that you get to hit your income goals a lot faster, as you said, where if you've got a $5,000 offer and you want to make $25,000 a month, you need 5 people. And that's so much easier than trying to get to that $25,000 a month with a cheaper offer, like a $27 ebook or $97 video program. I mean, commanding those premium prices, it's amazing because you can work with fewer people and you can make more money, and you can really go to bat for those people, getting them an incredible result. So it's like a win all the way around. The customer wins because they get more of your energy and attention, and they're showing up committed and coachable, and you win because you hit your income goal so much faster, and you can work with fewer clients so that you have more freedom and more time.
Now, one of the things that you and I talked about last time we spoke was the coaching component that you guys use. So let's just take people through the process and explain how it works. So let's say I signed up as one of your clients today. What are you going to teach me? Basically, if I want to set up a coaching business, let's just say for Self-Made Man as an example, and I hire you guys to help me implement that, what's that look like?
Well, the first thing we would do is get you clear on exactly what that is. So what's the offer going to look like? Are you going to, take Self-Made Man and offer, let's say, an 8-week online coaching program? Or is it maybe you want to do an event? Maybe you're like, Russ, I would love to do a 3-day event, kind of like what you were talking about before. And okay, great. So then when are you going to do that? Where are you going to do that? What are you going to charge? For most of our clients, they find that an 8-week online group coaching program is kind of the sweet spot. It's the holy grail, but it doesn't have to be that. You could be offering a done-for-you service. You could be offering an event. You could be offering one-on-one mentoring. So how you choose to deliver your magic, like how you choose to deliver that self-made man magic, it's really up to you. But what we'll get you clear on first and foremost is, okay, great. What does that do for your clients? So when people sign up with you, what's the outcome that they get? What's it about? Is it about losing 20 pounds, getting in the best shape of their life? Is it about, saving their marriage? Is it about growing and expanding their business? Is it about becoming a certain kind of person? So the first thing we do is get you clear on what is that outcome? How do you want to deliver it? And what do you want to charge? And then once we're clear on that, then we go to work putting that marketing together. So you already have an existing audience, right? So the smartest thing for us to do, Mike, would be to tap into that existing audience to offer them this new program. So that's the first thing we would do. And then once, you should definitely pick up quite a few clients from doing that. And then once that's done, then we show you how to deploy the same marketing system that we use that I've been telling you about, which is how do you run ads on Facebook? How do you drive those people into some kind of webinar or video? And then how do you offer those people a phone call so that you can get on the phone with them and decide whether you want to work with them or not? So we show you step by step how to implement that entire system. Now, what makes my particular program different than most is that we provide so much hand-holding along the way. So whereas most people are kind of selling information, what we're doing is selling transformation. So we don't just show you how to do this. We actually do it with you. So for example, I will show you step by step how we do the webinars and the video presentations to bring those clients in the door, right? And I'll show you how to do it. You will create yours, and then we will critique it and help you rewrite it along the way. So the difference is that it's very action oriented, where you're taking action. We're looking at it. We're helping you. Same thing with your Facebook ads. We're in your account looking at your targeting. We're answering your questions. We're doing all those things. And then at the same time, we're also providing really powerful mindset coaching and emotional support coaching just to get you through the fear and the overwhelm and the panic that tends to happen whenever you're making a big move in your business. What was shocking to me is that was the thing that our clients really needed the most. It's not just about giving people the best strategy, because look, I can give you the best strategy in the world, but if you're overwhelmed or afraid or freaking out or whatever, you're never going to put it into action. So we also provide that emotional support along the way to keep you focused, to keep you accountable, help you deal with any, fear and stuff that comes up. And because of that, we're able to get phenomenal results for our clients because the level of guidance and handholding that we give is just off the charts.
How many people have challenges from a mindset perspective when it comes to charging a higher price point?
Everyone. Everyone who's never done it before. Yeah, because it's scary, man. Most coaches and therapists and doctors, even doctors, are just so out of touch with the true value that they provide, Mike. So, like, look, it's one thing if you teach people how to, I don't know, play the accordion or something. It's like, okay, great. I teach people how to play the accordion. What's that worth? That's probably worth like, I don't know, maybe $50 an hour. I'm Italian. I love the accordion. We all love the accordion, but that's not really a high stakes problem, right? But most of the coaches who come to us and the business owners who come to us, they're solving big problems, man. They're helping people save their businesses. They're helping people who, okay, so like our client Jason is a doctor who helps people overcome irritable bowel syndrome. If you've got IBS and it's crippling your life, you have to fix that problem. Our client Violet works with women who are a little bit, getting a little bit older and they need to find the love of their life, and because they're feeling all this pressure because they feel like, they're in their mid to late 30s, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, I don't have true love in my life. To find those things, to solve those problems is so powerful and so priceless that most of our clients, it's just, they've never really come to a point where they truly appreciate the value that they deliver. So for your audience and listeners, I'd invite them to take a look at their work. What's the value of this problem that you solve? And if it's a big problem, it's like you can command those kinds of premium prices, even if you've never done it before, even if it's scary. If your marketing is dialed in properly, your sales are dialed in properly, and you've really got something great, you should be commanding a premium price for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What would you say to people who say, okay, that makes sense. We're going to do an ad. We're going to send those people to a webinar, and then we're going to set a phone appointment, and they might be scared of that phone call, right? Like, I'm not a superstar salesperson. Is that what I need to become? Or what does that phone call look like?
Well, so most of the time when people have a fear of selling over the phone, they're absolutely right. And the reason they have that fear is because most of the phone sales training that's out there today is just garbage. It's based on, all the old boiler
rooms, yeah.
Yeah, from the 60s and 70s and 80s where, like that whole boiler room, like Glengarry Glen Ross, Wolf of Wall Street type thing where you see it in the movies. That's where these techniques came from. And it's high pressure and it's ugly and it's based on charisma and being a fast talker. And if you're shy, it's never going to work for you. If you're an introvert, it's never going to work for you. If you actually care about your clients, it's never going to work for you. That's why people have this fear of sales, is because all they've ever seen is this high pressure sort of BS way of selling. So I realized that I wanted to have a phone conversation with my clients because I don't want people joining my program if I can't help them. So if I'm just sending people to an add to cart button, it's like, I don't know what their business is. Maybe they're the accordion teacher that I talked about before, where it's like they're not going to sell something for $5,000. So that person shouldn't join my program. The only way I can really find that out is if I get on the phone with them and have that conversation. So I knew that I wanted to do that. But I also knew that all the sales training out there was just junk, and it made me feel gross and it made me feel uncomfortable. So I was like, there's got to be a different way to do that as well. So what we did at Clients on Demand is we just came up with an entirely new way of doing enrollments, where it's not about making the sale. It's just about getting us to the truth. So if I'm on the phone with you, Mike, I want to find out what's going on in your business. What's the problem you solve? Why is it so important for you to figure this problem out? And probably the most important question is, do I want to work with you? And so we have this conversation where I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to get to the truth and get you to the truth. Because once you're clear on the problems in your business and what's going to happen if you don't fix them, most people will say, yeah, man, let's do it. Let's move forward. And that's a conversation that can happen without any like bullying and, any of that ugly stuff. It's actually a really powerful, fun conversation if it's done right. But the price for doing it that way, just to be perfectly honest, Mike, the price is that you have to have integrity. So if I'm going to have that conversation with you and we're talking and I got nothing in my bank account, let's say I'm desperate. Let's say I'm starting out in my business isn't really working right. And I'm on the phone with you and I get that feeling like I can't help you. You're not a fit as a client. I have a moral obligation not to enroll you, don't I?
Sure.
Right? So that's the price of doing it this way, where the old way of doing sales, it's like, look, If they have a pulse and a credit card, you take their money. But the new way of doing it, the way we teach, is like, look, you only enroll the people that are a fit. And that just changes the game, man. It really changes the game, because when you're on the phone with me, we're having a real conversation. I'm really trying to make a decision about you. You're really trying to make a decision about me. And we're just trying to get in sync about what the best move is for both of us. And it just completely takes off all of the ugliness. It's really a beautiful thing. So, and the best part about it is that the more high integrity someone is, the better it works. So you guys out there that are like introverted or shy or not a natural salesperson or whatever, if your heart is in the right place, you can just do incredibly well with this, because that sincerity and true concern for your clients is what makes it work.
Yeah, no, agreed. That was a lesson I learned way back in my network marketing days as well, after signing up anyone who would say yes and realizing that that person is not meant to be an entrepreneur. I'm wasting my time. They're wasting their time. That you learned it's actually much more expensive to work with the wrong people than it is to say no and simply focus on the right people. So that's a lesson I completely agree with.
Amen.
Yeah, very cool. So, we've obviously got a big audience with a bunch of entrepreneurs who are looking to build their first business and looking to replace their income for the first time, because that's really the first step. And what I love about what you guys are doing is that it's really an A to Z type of situation, but the pricing model is what I like the best, because, again, it will only take a sale a week to get someone, typically to get them to a 6-figure annual income. And the nice part about charging a premium price as well, guys, is that it gives you a ton of wiggle room when it comes to your marketing. It's incredibly difficult if I'm going to sell a $19 class or membership to do that profitably. And it's basically impossible with paid ads, unless, again, you've got 3 or 4 back-end products that you can offer to your customers over the next 1 to 2, 3 months. But when you're
Should we break down the math on that a little bit, Mike, or do you think that might be a little too advanced?
No. Let's do it. Sure. Yeah.
So just to illustrate what Mike's talking about, on Facebook, you could be paying, let's just say $3 a click for every click that you get to your webpage or to whatever it is. If you're paying $3 a click and you're selling something for, let's just say $20, you're going to get 7 clicks for $21. So for you just to break even, you got to sell something every 7 clicks. And that's basically impossible to do. But if you're selling something for $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, then just like Mike said, you have so much wiggle room. So for our clients, the way the math works out, just because I like giving away these kinds of details, the way the math works out, and this is a kind of a ballpark average, because every market is different, every niche is different. But for most of our clients, when their funnel, their marketing processes are dialed in, they're spending, let's just say, between $100 and $150 to get a potential client on the phone. Now, these leads are super warm. They just watched the webinar within the last 24 hours, let's say, and they're on the phone with you. So you're spending, let's just say, $100 to get every client on the phone, but you're making them a $5,000 offer. You see? So how many people do you realistically need to talk to before someone says yes? Even if you're only enrolling 1 in 5, which isn't that great, you're still, so to get those 5 conversations at $100 a piece, you're spending what? $500. But you're making a $5,000 sale. And so when your numbers look like that, you're making back $10 for every dollar you're spending on advertising. And that number is not theoretical. So if you look at Clients on Demand and you look at our stats for the past 4 or 5 years, just because I have access to all our internal stats, we're earning back, I think it's $10.75 for every dollar we spend on paid advertising. The only thing that enables us to have a return on investment that's that high is that, we command a premium price point. And so that's why it's just great for so many reasons. It's, like I said before, it's great for the client because you're working with fewer clients, you're giving them a VIP experience, they're showing up committed, they're showing up coachable. But it's great for you because not only do you hit your income goals faster, but it unlocks the power of paid advertising, where now you can run ads on places like Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or whatever and do it incredibly profitably because you're commanding those premium prices.
And it gives you wiggle room if you're not an expert yet, right?
Absolutely. I mean, even if you're only making back $2 for every dollar you spend, that's still awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And so it just gives you so much more wiggle room when it comes to the effectiveness of your ad campaigns or the conversion rates of your webinar. You don't have to have it down to this level of mastery that you would have to otherwise. And that's just such a huge advantage. And, if I was going to start over today with a brand new business from scratch for the first time, knowing what I know, not only from my experiences in the internet marketing world, but back in the networking days, it would really be to start with a higher end price point product for that reason. So that's why I wanted to have you on the show today and to talk about this, because it's a topic that we've never discussed in the last 3 years on the podcast. And I think it's a business building option that really would be at the top of my list if your initial goal is to replace your income as fast as possible. I can't think of a better way to do it. And honestly. So I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing.
Thank you, man. No, I that means a lot, man, because I know you've seen it all. You've done it all. You've seen it all. It's like, so that means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm trying to think, what else have we not covered yet? I mean, this is a pretty simple, straightforward business model. There's not a ton of work required here. It's really just diving in and getting it done. Which you guys.
Yeah, that's our goal. I mean, our goal is to make it so what I always tell people is like, look, we can make it simple, but it's not easy. So the key to making this work is that you have to nail each piece of this. So let's just say there's a few pieces. There's your offer, there's your pricing, and then as far as the funnel goes, there's your ads, there's your webinar, there's the phone call. There's all these different pieces. Not very many pieces. It's very, very simple. But the price is that you have to nail every single one perfectly. So to help our clients do that, it requires like a tremendous amount of work from my team and I at Clients on Demand. But we love doing it. It's our bread and butter. But yeah, so it's kind of, I would say it's deceptively simple insofar as it is very, very simple. It's simpler than anything else. But to execute those pieces properly, you really have to do it right.
Can you talk about the pros and cons of doing one-on-one coaching versus group coaching? Because that's a decision people are going to have to make.
That's a great question. So the first one is the obvious one, which is leverage and scale. If I'm working with people one-on-one, I can only accommodate so many clients, right? Because there's only so many hours in the day. How many people can I realistically work with one-on-one? So I would say sort of the worst way to do it is those of you guys that are seeing people one-on-one in your office every single day, where it's like, okay, Dave's got his appointment. He's paying me $150 an hour. And then Carol has her appointment. And then Charlie has his appointment, where, let's say you're working 6 hours a day or seeing 6 appointments a day. That decision determines how far you can scale your business, right? Because even if you're booked solid, again, there's only so many hours in the day. And if you, God forbid, want to take a vacation, that vacation is going to be twice as expensive, isn't it? Because you're not just paying for the vacation and the hotel and the flights and all that stuff. You're paying for all the work you're missing. Because if you're not sitting in the office, you're not making money. So that's probably like the worst way to do it, right? And then maybe the second best way to do it is to do some sort of online coaching or telecoaching, where now at least you're location independent. So you go on vacation and still have conversations with people, that sort of thing. But the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to do some kind of online group program. Now, look, I had a lot of doubts when I was starting out about trying it this way, because I had been doing one-on-one. I was a big believer in one-on-one. I had some clients that were paying me, a monthly fee to mentor with me, and it was all one-on-one. But here's what I found. When you're working with someone one-on-one, you spend so much time just covering the fundamentals with each and every client over and over and over again. I went to see a nutritionist one time, really brilliant nutritionist. And for the first appointment, I go into his office and literally for the first appointment, it was 2 hours. And for the first hour and a half, he gives me this binder and he's walking me through it. And he's teaching me all about like his theories about nutrition and how it should work and all this other stuff. And it was all great stuff. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, is this guy doing this with each and every client? Where he is just explaining the same basic stuff over and over and over again? And so what you're going to find is that for most of your listeners, when they see someone one-on-one, a lot of the work that they do with those people is just repeated again and again and again and again and again. So it's like with this nutritionist, it's like, why not take that stuff and package that into some kind of an online program and then give me that live support So you don't have to teach me everything. You can do that with a video. And then maybe once a week we get on a call and you answer all my questions. So the way that most of our clients lay out their online group programs is like, let's say that it's a program about how to overcome irritable bowel syndrome, like we talked about. So you would say, okay, it's an 8-week program. It's about overcoming irritable bowel syndrome. And each week you give them one step. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. And all of that is done by video. So you only have to do it once. And then once a week, you get your clients on a group Q&A call and let them ask you whatever they want. That model, Mike, when I switched over to that model, it actually started providing better results for my clients than one-on-one. So the results that we get today at Clients on Demand are like light years ahead of what I got when I was doing one-on-one. And I think the reason for that is that when you're doing a group program, this whole group dynamic emerges. Where like if you go into one of my Facebook groups that I have for my clients, it's incredible because people are like cheerleading for each other. They're supporting each other. They're forming accountability partnerships. Anytime you try to make a big change in your life, isn't lonely. Like if everyone in your family is, let's say like overweight, and you finally say, you know what, man, I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna go join this fitness program and I'm gonna get in great shape. You're gonna have a lot of people in your life that are trying to tear you down and sabotage what you're doing. That's just how people are. So if you're in this group program though, with all of these people that are on the same journey as you, cheerleading for you, rooting for you, like supporting you, like helping you come up with questions and things and answering your questions and all this stuff, you don't feel so lonely as you might if it's just you and your fitness coach, because now you're part of something, you're part of a family. And I didn't expect that to happen, Mike, when I rolled out this group program. I was like, look, we're going to give this a shot. Maybe it'll work better than one-on-one. Maybe it won't. But I was very skeptical, but it really does get better results in a group program than one-on-one. Now, of course, your audience won't know that, just like I didn't know that until I tried it. But I've never had someone in Clients on Demand who was doing one-on-one, and we've had thousands of clients, right? So I've never had anybody who was doing one-on-one switch over to a group program and then switch back because their clients weren't getting results. Never.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. The whole part about doing one-on-one that you mentioned at the beginning, I can absolutely appreciate, which is the fact that if you're doing one-on-one, you basically have a really highly paid job that you've given yourself.
Right.
But there's just no point of leverage. So yeah, absolutely agreed. So I think that this is going to be a really good fit for a lot of people who are listening to this and who've struggled with the traditional online marketing, business model of, ebooks and the information side, which is, what I've cut my teeth on and what I know how to do. But if you're starting from scratch, I think this is something you guys should really, really look into. Who is this for specifically, Russ? Because I don't want a bunch of people calling you guys if it's not a good fit and wasting everybody's time. And then 2, what's the best way to get in touch with y'all?
Okay, so I'll answer those in reverse order. So the best way to reach out to us is that if you are listening to this and you think that these ideas could be great for your business, why couldn't you roll out a high ticket program? Why couldn't you deploy this kind of simple marketing funnel to get those clients in the door? Like Mike said, it's like, why not? If you've never done that before, and if you're just starting out, or if you've been stuck in, doing ebooks and all this other stuff where, or God forbid, doing all this content marketing, just trying to build this massive audience and just struggling to do that, and you're interested to see whether we can help you out, then I'd love to offer you the chance to book a phone call with me and my team where we can get on the phone for about 45 minutes and we can just talk about like where you want to go, what you're up to, and whether we can help you. And if you want to talk about how we can work together to make that happen, great. But if not, that's no problem. You're still going to get tremendous value and tremendous clarity just out of talking to us. So it's not just going to be some big sales pitch. We're really going to go deep on what's going on with you and your business. And I promise you that if you are not a fit for this, we will tell you. But if you are a fit, we can talk about how we want to work together if that's something that you want to talk about. But either way, you're going to get tremendous value just out of talking to us. I promise you. So who is that phone call for? It's really for people that solve a major problem in their business. So If you're a network marketer, unfortunately, this probably isn't for you. If you're a plumber where you're unclogging people's drains, that's awesome. And when you need your drain unclogged, yeah, it's a major problem. But that's not what I mean. What I'm talking about is a major life or business challenge. So you're helping people get in the best shape of their lives. You're helping people lose 30 pounds. You're helping people with their dating or their relationships. You're helping people with personal development, overcome stress and anxiety. You doctors and medical professionals, this is definitely for you. You're helping, you're a business coach or something. You're helping people grow their business and expand their business. So if you are solving a major life or business challenge, then this is totally for you.
Yeah, agreed. The money side of things as well. I know Christina and Kirk are building a great financial coaching business because that's their background, right? So I think that's a big piece as well. And if you do have a marketing skill set, maybe you're good at Facebook ads, maybe you're good at SEO or at social media marketing, this is perfect for you. So, Russ, what's the best place to go to schedule a call or to get in touch with you guys?
Right. So the best place to go is to go to codcall.com. That's codcall.com. And when you go there, you'll see a calendar with all of our available appointment times for the next few days. Just grab whichever appointment time works for you. And then we'll take you to a very short application, fill that out, and we will go ahead and call you at the appointment time that you chose. And it will be probably the best 45 minutes to an hour you've ever spent working on your business. If you've never considered doing things this way before, it's really going to blow your mind. So I encourage you to do it. Go to codcall.com.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing from the audience members that are going to end up working with you guys, because I'm sure some will, and hearing about their results, because I'm super excited about what you guys are doing and the reviews that you have. That was a part of your business that I thought was really cool that I haven't seen, but you guys use a third-party service called Trustpilot for all of your client reviews, and they're like, 4.5 out of 5 stars out of hundreds of them or something like that.
Something like that. They're pretty good.
Yeah, and they're really long and detailed too. They're not like little one sentence reviews. So clearly you guys are helping a lot of people, which I'm always a big supporter of businesses that are doing that. So thanks so much for joining us today and for sharing your insights with us and for introducing people to this business model that I think, again, if you're starting from scratch, and you want to kind of take a shortcut and replace your income, I really, really think that this is the single best business model that you can use here in the beginning. And then if you want to grow into some giant, brand or coaching empire a couple of years from now and have a much wider reach with, a best-selling book or things like that, well, then you've got the time and money to do that. But reversing the business model and starting with the top tier customers first provides a ton of advantages. And so I love it. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, man.
Awesome. Well, guys, get in touch with Russ and his team at codcall.com if this is something you want to learn more about. I highly recommend them. I've got friends who are clients who've had a great experience. And so, for me, this is a really easy recommendation to make to you guys, and I hope you take advantage of it. Either way, we'll see you next week on the next episode. Take care.